Temba's wife asked him, "Love, why aren't you talking to Sipho anymore? You used to be really good friends, you two." Temba replied, "Well, would you like to talk to someone who's kind of stupid, is using drugs, and is drinking alcohol every day?" "Of course not," said his wife. Temba said, "Well, neither would he." Good evening and welcome to the Africa Day edition.
I was a little
of
bit
Talk
slow there.
with- Welcome to the Africa edition of Talk with Rams Live. My name is Rams Mabote. Thank you for choosing to join us. We are live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube as Talk with Rams. Subscribe to the channel and follow us. I have said a million times that if you want to be in business, then you must be willing to sell. Business is nothing but selling. If you don't like sales, my suggestion, stay away. And that is why tonight I'm happy to present a sales masterclass with my friend, author, and sales specialist, Hector Motivator, to share with us the necessary techniques of selling. And I know you are going to love it. Mogaetsho dumela.
Ra dumela, ke itumela go nna le wena mo Talk with Rams. Ke itumetse thata. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
I see you on the yellow chair there.
Of course. It had to
The
be there. It's
famous
part
yellow
of the
chair.
brand.
You know,
It's
I wanted
like
to
a
do
Hector
something
from
for
the yellow
you.
chair.
I wanted to do something for you tonight, and I forgot. I wanted to wear a
Wear a
bow
bow
tie.
tie.
Yes.
Okay.
I will remember next time.
Okay, please.
Now, I have known you for many years, long before we were gray, both you and I.
I know,
So
yes.
I can easily justify why I have you here. But for the viewers of this show, I'm going to ask you the American question. What is your right to be here? What is your claim to fame? What gives you the right to be on this show tonight?
You know, for a few reasons, especially given the topic that we are dealing with, Rams, I'm very passionate about sales. Actually, I used to be a sales trainer for a company called Business Presentation Skills for about 7 years. It's just that it's one thing that I have never sold. It's so weird that I've never sold my sales side. And also, Rams, when I grew up, in my book, The Hector Experience, I'm sharing with the reader how I started to sell for my mother, who is a seamstress or a dressmaker, in the village, that she would send me, go next door, go and sell. And from those early days, when I learned that if you don't sell, you won't eat. As simple as that. You don't sell, you won't eat. And I remember days where there would be nothing at home. Got lockdown. Our own special lockdown, economy at home. And then my mother would just sit down, make a few squadaikis, man, what do you call it? Messi. Squadaikis, a few squadaikis and a few jerseys. And then says, my child, go and sell. That's when I learned to deal with rejection, and I learned to deal with choices in sales, where you find, you're walking into a house. Our stands were large in Madidi. You see that mother or father is sitting there with the children. But as you approach, she disappears. And then you approach the kids and say, Mama, okay, but no, Mama is not here. But no, Mama Ariati, That's when I learned the early lessons in selling. It's not an easy thing, but it's got to be done. And then I joined Sales House at the age of 17. Now I'm old. I'm proving that you and I are old, my friend. Sales House. I worked for Sales House. A Jewish guy called Calvin Milner, and that Jewish man taught me sales. Urbana, you sell until you hit your target. The store would be closing at 2. He would stretch it to 6 o'clock until we hit our target. And he taught me. That's where I learned the art of selling the classic way, where you find, I go to different malls whenever I know Rams, and you find these kids, young ones, sitting in a shop literally just sitting there looking all cute on their smartphones. And I remember that when I was at sales house, I was taught the classic selling that calling the customers into the store. You call them in to sell to them. And then my third lesson, why I should be here, I learned from my mentor who lectured me at TNT, Technical Nathan Transvaal, which is TUT now, Zakes Mori. He taught me the same lessons, that you call the customers in and you charm the customers. So I learned that. And then number 4 is when I now had to do it myself, where I was running my own business as a motivational speaker, and to be booked, it doesn't just happen naturally because people like you. You used to be on Radio Bob and Kaya FM and all these stations. I still have to pick up the phone and say, good morning, my name is Hector, and may I come in and speak to your staff for this amount. I had to sell face rejection as well, and I'm selling my book at the moment, and I sold a lot of copies of this book. And boy, now once you give me audience, if you just give me an audience, you've bought. There's no way you will escape me. You know, I have different selling and closing techniques, which I will share with the listener this evening. So I think that qualifies me, Horbona. You qualify to talk about this subject.
I know, and thank you very much for that introduction. So let's get to the heart of it. Look, you and I know, and I suppose everybody knows, there are a million techniques to do anything in life, whether it's sales, gardening, or even running a brothel. Okay, we know that there are many techniques to do so. Which one works for Hector Motivator?
You know, I've looked at a few of them. There is one called the 7-step model, you know, in selling, and I think that's the most popular one. And for most people who are in sales, they would know that that model actually starts with the first step called what do you call that? Profiling. No, not profiling. Prospecting. Thank you. I'm a bit nervous. You make me nervous.
Well, I'm a salesman. I've done all this nonsense.
Prospecting. Most of the models start with that. Or, you know, you start prospecting, which is looking at the potential customers, you know, potential people who can make use of your service or your product. But Hector has a different model. Call it this Hector model, that you don't start with prospecting. You start with preparation, because I know in some models they say prospecting and then preparation. No, I flip it the other way around, that you start with preparation. And what is in preparation, Rams? Rams, what is in preparation is where, number one, you start with yourself. When you overcome yourself, am I ready to sell? And number 2, do I have a passion to sell what I am selling? Now, 2 things around passion. 1, you need to ideally sell what you are passionate about. I'm passionate about my book because it's about my story, because I'm passionate about myself. When I'm on radio, I love music. I can sell you any radio show or any musician, umorate. So you start with passion. But in times like this, Corona and lockdown, Rams, there are moments where you need to do what you need to do to survive. I mean, there are people who are selling masks, and I don't think they're passionate about masks, but there's the fact that right now people need masks. So whether you are faking, you are faking your passion or not, Bona, fake it till you sell it. You know, in that you've got to make a sale. And you've got to look like you really believe in this mask that you are selling. So whatever it is that you need to do to survive, because it's tough times that we are facing in terms of unemployment and the economy shrinking and all that. So whatever you are able to sell, find a way to at least look passionate about it.
What do I do once I've prepared? So you say I must start with preparation. So I've prepared myself. I think I like masks because the world is looking at masks. I think I know now that I can go face the enemy and tell them about the masks. What then? What then after preparation?
Okay, in preparation, there's a P that I wouldn't want us to skip, Rams, and it is a P for product knowledge, which I know in the most models comes after prospecting. So I'm saying, know this thing that you are about to sell your prospects. Know your product. Be intimate with it, understand it. You know, there's nothing as terrible and horrible. I think you must have been there where you can see, oh, this one is taking a chance. Somebody's selling something that they don't know. You ask 1 or 2 questions and you throw them off. So make sure that you are passionate about it, but you also have product knowledge, because empty passion can be, we can see it. And then from there, the next step, Rams, is prospecting. Now, prospecting says, I've got these masks. Now, who can make use of these masks? Now, we know right now in this COVID, hey, there are different types of masks. I don't know which ones have you seen, Rems. They're the classic blue ones. Those ones are what? That famous in pharmacy, the blue doctor. And then you have the ones, hey, the African print, the Happy Africa Day, hey, all over the place. And then you have, I've seen a leather mask. And I was like, okay, how am I going to... And then also a guy in Hyde Park, Olga, some guy. Okay, how am I going to breathe with this one? From 15 rand all the way to 150, 250. Now, with your product, you've got to ask yourself, if I have a mask of 250, like somebody tried to sell it to me, 3 for 250. Well, that guy looked at me and thought, Mr. Motivator looks like he can afford 3 masks at 250 in his prospecting. So do your prospecting right to sell the right product or the right service to the right audience so that you don't waste your time. And I think in prospecting, there's an element called qualifying. That's where you check, or can that one afford? Can that one not afford? But as you are doing that, hey, don't make a mistake by judging the book by its cover too much. Because there's some people who will not wear like $1 million, by the way, So do your prospecting carefully. So that's the next step.
What that means though, and I know we don't judge a book by its cover, although I like the yellow cover of your book, but what it means is that not everyone is your customer. You must know who can buy your product.
Of course, Rams, not everyone is your customer. In my business as a speaker, there are audiences or companies that I know. I'm approaching this and that one company because I know they can afford my service, and I will not go sell at some company that I know I'm wasting my time. So prospecting says, who can make use of my product and who has a problem that my product can solve or my service can solve? Who has a pain that I can, heal? Who has an itch that I can scratch, So you will sell to the right people. And then after prospecting, the most difficult part, Rems, it's easy to sit down there. I know even in network marketing, but make a list of 100 people. It's easy to write them down. Hey, Rems, and I'm gonna go to Taimidam Banda, and I'm gonna go to Tabo Rafutu, and I'm gonna go to all my friends, listing you down. The next step, approach, Baba. Approaching your prospects. Hey, brah. When I have to pick up a phone and say, hey, Rems, now I have to pretend like I miss you and I haven't seen you in a long time. How are you? Can't I know I want to sell you the mask? You know that actually there's a guy who is so smart. You know what this guy does? And I've seen through that because I've done that before. When I know I want to sell to Rems, and I know I haven't spoken to this guy in 3 years, I can't just call him after 3 years and say, hey, Rems, I'm selling this. No, Raymond. No, right now you only think of me when you're thinking mine. No, so this guy did a very interesting thing during the lockdown. He called me and said, hey, Hex, how you doing? It's been a while. And then he didn't say anything. And then somewhere during that conversation, he gave it away. No, it's not that he's thinking of me. I can bet with you, Rems, that guy's going to call me in the next 2 weeks or so. He was just reintroducing himself. No, I'm still your friend, So in approaching, Rems, to tell everyone who is in business right now, I cannot do that for you. No amount of motivation will do this for you. No amount of a show with Rems for 30 minutes will do this for you. You have to get up, either pick up the phone or go and approach your potential customers and face. And you know why that's the tough step? Because most of us are human beings by nature. We don't like rejection. I have a thing, Rems. We are all salespeople. We are all salespeople. Whether you're going to sell yourself in an interview or going for that interview, that's a sales pitch. Take me, out of all these 100 applicants or 1,000 applicants, take me. Why me? Then you sell yourself. When you're approaching a woman, it's a sales pitch. Now, people don't buy products and services. We know that. Everybody in sales will tell you that. They buy you. Now, who is you? Now, important also, when you are passionate about this, your approach, Rams, confidence, charm, bona, approach this person, you've studied your potential, like your prospect, bona, call them by name, try to speak their language. This guy is not speaking this one. An attempt to try and really get to my pocket. Because at the end of the day, bona, it's about money. Sales is about ching-ching. So try to speak their language. So trying to speak their language and calling them by their name and confidence. Just showing that confidence already opens up the doors for you. So that's the approach, a confident approach.
But Hex.
Yes.
Look, man, there's a fellow that, some of us try to like. He's based somewhere in an office called Union Buildings, and he also lives in Hyde Park. He's locked us in our homes for the last 60 days now. Is it not futile to sell during the lockdown?
Rams, it's a tough question that you are asking because the economy is depressed right now. People are already talking the R word that we dread so much, recession.
Yeah.
Jobs are being lost, are being shared at an alarming rate. Now, is this useful to approach, to go and do a presentation and try and sell to anybody? I would say, actually, this is a time when you need to sell. Don't assume. You see, that's an issue of an attitude. Don't assume that everybody does not have money. Emuna, did you see how people were excited about alcohol next week? Why are they excited when they don't have money? It is there. They are excited because it's not going to be given for free. They're going to buy it. So that means that there's some zagayana somewhere. So what you believe, you see, that's a key in sales. Believe that they have money. Just believe in them. So all over the weekend, I saw an article about a young man who, he's in the space of IT or Zulchi or something company. He made like 64 million. Now, it is those who will believe that somewhere, somehow, somebody has got some moolah and they can buy my product. You need to go into the market believing. You can't go into the market doubting. You doubt, you're out. So you go in believing that there must be one or two people who can afford this, even in a suppressed economy. This guy, Robert Kiyosaki, I had a chance to have a breakfast with this guy some time ago. And this guy told me, one-on-one, and he told me something. He says, when there's a crisis, like right now, during the lockdown, it is not time to run away. It is time to emerge and see. That's why they call it emergency. That's why we call it emergency. Emerge and see opportunities. Now, some of us run away. The economy is closed. Yeah. Then as we run for shelter, helter-skelter, scuttling for cover. People are, but check out, hey, mask, hey, sanitizer, hey, this, hey, this. They are coining it. So even in your space, in your industry, as a motivator, I must be saying, people are depressed. They need motivation. Let me do it online. Via Zoom, let's talk. So any industry, you need to look at what is there. And if your industry is still closed, diversify, think of other things to sell. The money is there if you come up with a product or a service that will be needed right now during these conditions. So you can sell during lockdown. You can sell in this COVID environment.
Wilson Nonyani, who's on Facebook, says, nothing is as hard as selling. And I'm going to add and say, I think our fear of selling is more the fear of rejection, more than the fear of selling. Am I right?
You are so correct, Rams. We fear rejection. Nobody because we take it personal. That's the problem with it. When somebody, I'm trying to sell, let's say the phone that I'm having in my hands right now, talking to you, and I'm trying to sell it, and somebody says no. I take it so personal and say, why is he rejecting me? No. I'm rejecting the phone. You're still my friend. I like you. It's the phone that I am rejecting, and I'm rejecting it for various reasons. I'm not ready for a phone right now. I don't like the type of phone you are selling. You know, so it's not about you. So you need to separate yourself even from your service. You need to separate yourself even from your product, that this person is rejecting my service or my product, but not me. So it is a fear of rejection. And if you want to win in sales, you have to overcome the fear. Go self has to die. Overcome the fear of rejection, overcome pride even. Hey, some of us are just so full of pride. So overcome pride, you know. Bona, Rems, only slay queen, only slay king, only whatever. Times like this would require that mona. You know, today I was bidding farewell to my friends on Facebook, live, lockdown, lunchtime.
Farewell to me.
To you. and why? There's a business that's not even linked to motivational speaking. I've been working on that for a few months, even before the lockdown. I need to pay attention to that, because when the lockdown hit, we're having machinery and all this kind of things. Then we are in the business of doing PPE. In the business of PPE, me. And what am I going to do? I'm going to sell it to you. Hey, you're a motivator. I'm still a motivator. I'm motivating you to buy my product. So I'm not off my purpose. So this will require that whether you have a qualification, because I know one of the biggest stumbling blocks for a lot of people, me with a PhD, with an MBA, you will die of hunger with your MBA and your degree, or you'll die to a high degree.
I was taught many years ago, my coach in sales taught me that one of the greatest ways to avoid disappointment in sales is to sell to a lot of people. He said, the more you sell to a lot of people, the easier it becomes to get a no, because you know that your chances of a yes are always at best 10%. At best, he says actually you are likely to get a 1% conversion. So sell to 20 people a week, so that when 19 say no, it's like, I'm now used to this thing. Was that valid?
It's true. Yeah, it becomes part of you, because, you know, let's use the story of a cheetah. Not Yago Ujola 99. Cheetah, the animal.
The animal cheetah.
Yeah, CHEET. TAAH. The cheetah. You know, I heard a very interesting story, and I don't know how this person was counting, but let's believe him. He says a cheetah misses its prey 9 out of 10 times. Yeah. But it has never decided to become vegetarian. And that is why it's so slim. Have you seen how slim a cheetah is? That thing is so slim because it misses its prey 9 out of 10 times. But it has never decided, I might as well eat grass. You know? No. It keeps on trying, and that must apply to all of us. The guys, Mutase, you sell, and this person will say no, this one say no, but keep on selling Mutase, because the 10th one might say yes, and that could be your salary for the month. You know?
I like the cheetah metaphor, and I'm going to add something to that before we get to the last question, and I'm going to read some of the comments that we have. There's another metaphor about the cheetah. It's got a limited number of seconds to chase targets. And if it misses that target, not necessarily by catching, but also by time, it has to stop. And that metaphor says to me, do not overchase what you can't catch. There is other prey elsewhere.
Oh yes, oh yes. I like that. And actually, I saw a program like that, and I couldn't believe it. That thing, as it's running, I think it's a few seconds, man. That if it doesn't catch that prey within those seconds, it won't catch it, because it used all the energy. That is why your prospecting must be right to chase the right potential and to also sell to the right people. Very, very important, Rams, and thank you very much for that.
Okay, let me read some of the comments. We've got a lot of people who joined us. I will read as many as I can on Facebook. Sipati Mazepa says, Hector, thank you very much. Product knowledge is good. She says 100%. Siamukela Nzuza was about to ask about your yellow. Then he noticed the chair is yellow. Looking forward to today's lesson. Lebohang Tabi Mokosi says, we're in the building. She loved the product knowledge lesson you gave. I asked about Philson's question. Sonti Unati says, Brahex, my motivational coach. Edson Nimark, a great follower of this show, says, hello, Rams. Good evening to your guest. Really ready to be motivated and learn the art of selling. Siamkela says network marketing helps tons in getting one used to rejection. I agree with that. We
Yes.
all have tried network marketing until we realize we don't belong there. Teboho, Malume Stopper says, hey, when you are close to the closing, then boom, the person changes their mind. Eish. On Instagram, we've got friend of mine, Happy Makumalo is there. I've got Sir Walter Mokosi. I've got Nan Spear. I've got Just Teaser. And many, many of you. Oh my God, there are so many people here today, and I have not actually acknowledged them. But thank you very much. Hex,
Yep.
the closing is a very beautiful thing in anything that we do. If we can close a
Yes.
sale, you know you're going to make money. One of the tricks about closing a sale is because that always comes at the end. It's
Yes.
the price. It's like the girl saying, so utong kisaka. So when the client says, so how much? Sometimes I find that's where we miss the closing.
And you know, it's a pity we don't have all the time in the world tonight. That's what you call one of the buying signs. Buying signs comes in two ways. You check the body language, they will lean towards you, or they will ask a question, how much? Oh, wait there, how much? My goodness. Rams, you know that you are 5 to selling. Or you are 5 to that. Or you are just about to seal the deal. And then when you say the price, say it with confidence. Don't show any doubt, because you doubt, you are out, remember.
Yeah.
So that how much? And if you find that your price is higher than all other people, you come prepared to show why. What's the value in your price, in your product, or in your service? And also, maybe you might find that it's lower than that of your competitors. That one is very easy. You show them that, look at that product, and then mine is at this price. And it's not even, it's an investment that you are making, Mr. Buyer. And also, one of the closing techniques, just quickly as we close, Rams, that issue of how many of these are you taking? Let's say they haven't even asked you how much. When you finish, I say, that dog that you chase the bus and the car, and then when the bus stops and the car stops, it turns away. It's like, even after all that energy, so it's that person. It's that person who will be in front of this prospect selling, and they fail to do the one thing at the end: sell. How many of these are you taking, sir? Is it going to be cash or credit card or what, or e-wallet? Or are we going to do it with Sendi Mali, or is it Warner? How are we going to do this? Or how many of this? If they don't ask how much, how many of this are you taking? I am ready actually to hoy in one extra one just for you, just for today. So sell, rekisa, ngena mama, ngena papa, ngena mama, ngena papa, rekisa, classic sale, rekisa, ngwana high. If you don't sell, you won't eat. Being shy, you'll remain dry.
But clients will still ask you, potentials will still say Marwatura Hector. Now, I've got my own view about that. And I've always said I don't sell price. So what I say to potential clients, I say to them, look, I want you to buy it at the price that I'm giving to you. And if you're not happy, you bring it back and I'll pay you back your money. But if you are happy, I want a commitment, a long-term commitment. But I
like that. I like that. And that's why it's important to come prepared, Rams, and especially around the features and the benefits of your product when you're doing your presentation. Because remember, after the approach, it's you doing the presentation of your product. Make sure that you show those salient benefits and the key features of the solution that you are offering your potential, so that they can see and like this value here, go to this price that this person is selling it to me for. Actually, this is a bargain. So the technique, the approach, you can make them melt and get them buying something so expensive, but making it look like it's not expensive. This guy, Batman Les Brown, I think his approach is a bit cocky. I don't like it, but he says that if somebody says, I can't afford your talk. You are very expensive. And he says to some of his people, he says, no, don't say that I am expensive. Say that I cannot afford you. You know, and I found it so weird. Well, don't tell me I'm expensive. Say you cannot afford me. Because, you know, into each product and service, you know what goes into there and how you arrived at a particular price. You know, whether it was Yanda Kettle or Usmeg, you know how you arrived there.
A pineware like me.
Or pineware, you know, but also, are you the right target market? You know, are you selling it to the right people? Go and sell it to one of the labels around these things. This one I look, this one I lock down. These are the labels, Papa. These are the labels.
X, listen, mate. Above all things, and by the way,
Yeah.
I want you to do two things for me. I want you to tell
Yeah.
people how they can get the book, because that book is not only your story. For me, it's a sales book. It's a book that people
Okay.
learn a lot about selling from that book. I want you to tell them about the book quickly, but also you are nothing if you're not a motivational speaker. You have to leave us with some motivational words. So you got 1.5 minutes to do all that.
Okay. On my Facebook page, Hector Motivator, I will put the details on how to get the book. You deposit the money and then we post it to you. As simple as that for now. So we are on digital selling right now. So I will post the details, and I think they are also on your page somewhere, like you said, but I will put it on my page as well. You deposit the moolah, 200 rand, and that's not all. Actually, it is because you are watching Talk with Rams, it is 199.99. And that's not all. I will sign it for you. And then you add 100 rand and I will post it to you. How's that? And then, Rams, at the end, COVID-19, Corona, lockdown does not take away your creativity, shouldn't kill our innovation. Tough times never last, but tough people do. Desperate measures or times call for desperate measures, Baba. Learn to go even outside your area of specialization. Find something that you can sell and sell well. If you don't sell, you won't eat.
I have
Simple.
always told you, this is the most powerful 30 minutes on social media. If you miss it, you lose out. Thank you so much, Hex. Always wonderful having you, my brother. And I wish you all the best. And I know all our viewers, and I mean, you must go to the page and see the comments there. People love what you said. People love what you contributed. You must have a great evening.
Nita danke. Ngena mama, ngena papa, ngena mama, ngena papa, ngena reka wena, ngena mama, ngena papa, rekisa ngwana ko hai, rekisa, tengisa, rekisa. Sharp.
So to all of you, thank you so much for choosing to join us. And I see more people have come in on both platforms this evening. I hope you got your money's worth listening to Hector Motivator. I can tell you I did. I trust what he does. I've seen his work for so many years. You must call him when you're back in the office to come and motivate your staff, to train you in sales, in team building. He does so many other things, but most importantly, buy that book. So tomorrow is Opportunity Tuesday. I've got an amazing guest to talk to us about something that we have all neglected. They call themselves the Township Economic Transformation in Franchise Ecosystem. And what they're trying to do is to franchise township businesses. All of us want to grow, but we cannot multiply ourselves to be 20 hair salons or 20 plumbers. But these guys are arguing you can actually become a franchise even as a small township organization. We don't always have to think franchises are the big fried chicken or those kind of companies. So tomorrow we're speaking to these guys about how you can turn your business into a franchise and grow much quicker and much bigger with lesser effort. Do join us 7:30 p.m. on this platform as usual. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Talk with Rams on all the platforms. Do subscribe to Instagram and follow us on Facebook, and like us and follow us on Instagram. We do appreciate your patronage. And from me, Rams Mabote, good night and God bless.